Okay, so today I am working on the first parts, taking this engine apart. First thing I wanted to do is just get it cleaned up a little bit. There's a lot of grime and gunk on there and wanted to get it off. I've got to replace the casing. But it was really messy and the top had a little bit of grime on it. So I wanted to get the big chunky things off. So here I am, spraying it with engine cleaner, or engine degreaser, excuse me. And as we did that, let it sit for the pre-described time. I think it was about 10 or 15 minutes. But then we just started scrubbing. Again, I did this with the intent of getting the big pieces off so they wouldn't fall in and just make a mess inside of my motor. We had my daughter come out. She helped me scrub, and we mostly just wiped and a little bit of wire brush, just scrubbed, like I said, most of the big pieces off. At some point we'll get the other parts cleaned up. We'll probably just, after we pull them apart, use a little spray and scrub and clean and get them cleaned up and looking good. You can see there's not a lot of grease on that top end. It's mostly just dirty. And so I'll do another approach to get that cleaned up. But I wanted to get it cleaned out and ready, and really just getting it prepped to keep everything as clean as possible once I get it off. I've got to replace the casing, and the big reason for that is this big chunk missing a piece there. The rotor is obviously destroyed. Some welders said they'd be able to fix this for me, but because of the heat, I'd need to take it apart anyway. And so I just thought and in fact, I found a really nice and clean case that I'll put back together and get in. So here we are. This is me and my oldest daughter. We're digging in, following the Haynes manual, and that gives you pretty good instructions. The details are good, but really tells you even what order to take the bolts off. And so we're working through. We took off the cylinder head cover, and now we're working on this top end piece. Pull off the top end. Now you can see I did secure the cam chain. Did that in a way that I didn't want it falling down inside. I read a few horror stories of that, mostly though because people weren't taking it all the way apart. I am, but I still thought it'd be a good idea, so I did hold that off. Next up, after we pull that part, we're going to start working on the cylinder head. Now this one, it comes in two pieces. I saw some videos. I think the videos I was watching must have been a CB750, because I didn't have the big stud posts, and so I worked through it, taking all these bolts out, and again, following the Haynes manual in the process, because there is a certain order that helps keep the tension a little bit more even. And so I did that. Went through, my son came out and helped me a little bit, and we both started digging in, taking it apart. So got those bolts apart again. It looks like I'm all over the place. The reason for that, I'm just doing a little bit at a time, trying to get those loosened up as best as possible. That was recommended. Again, I don't know if that made a huge difference. For me, this was pretty easy to get off, though. I was expecting something a little harder. And the reason, again, I watched some videos where people were prying this thing up off of some giant studs. On my 650, I didn't have that. So we used a rubber mallet, kind of loosened it up a little bit. I was expecting the top piece to come off before the bottom, but really after a little bit of work back and forth, we got it moved up and the pistons worked their way out. So you can see the piece back there. It's all together and I can't get it apart. I ended up using a little heat and did successfully get it off. Piston heads look okay. They're fairly clean. By clean, I mean not damaged. You can see there's a lot of soot. I'm gonna have to take care of those. I've got a local shop that he's super helpful and been a really great guy, but he's gonna be able to do some checking on both my pistons as well as the cylinders, make sure things are in good shape. He might even run some of his machinery in the bores to make sure they're good, but I didn't see any damage, so I'm pretty happy about that, and looking forward to the rest of the teardown. I'm a little nervous about the case, but overall, this one was pretty good, and excited to move on.